Hello, and welcome back to my GTNH playthrough. It is July 28th. This episode will be going over what I accomplished over the weekend, as well as today, and what we have planned going for the future. Actually, made a fair amount of progress. So as I left off last week, my main goal for the weekend was to go to Mars. I know I didn't explicitly say it while going to Mars, though. I wanted to accomplish, basically, get all the different quests and stuff done while there. So I'm gonna kind of go in not quite chronological order for the weekend, but just to kind of make it easier to be a little more concise with what I'll accomplish, because I actually did quite a bit. So yes, I did make it to Mars. Started off with, for that, crafting the tier 2 rocket, which of course then from there there's a couple other things I needed to do along the way to get to that, but I'll come back to all that. So went to Mars. First thing I did was set up a miner. I immediately realized that I did not have nearly enough drilling fluid. Defeated 3 dungeons, that way I could get all the different schematics. I bred the bees. Because of the bees, though, and the lack of ore fluid, I basically immediately had to turn around, come back to Earth, grab way more oil, drilling oil, and grab flowers. I forgot to bring flowers with me, so I couldn't actually breed the bees. So that was a little amusing. I just want to show this real quick in the quest book. So part of the reason I ended up having to come back, so I had not crafted a drill before, and in the quest it shows this optional 64 drilling fluid cell. This is very misleading to me. You need so much. I think I went through 4 million things, or 2 super tanks full of drilling fluid, and at that point it still wasn't done mining out before I tore it down. But also while I was out there, I went to both moons. On each planet I did the ore tasks required for each one, or I guess technically they're like stone tasks. I grabbed all the ores for the critical materials, grabbed all the reactor fluid ores, grabbed all the different other ores as it's labeled in this quest. I also finished out the couple different quests in the space race that are specific to the planet. These two quests right here are basically the reason I had to make a third trip out there to finish it out. So I didn't have a bucket on me, so I couldn't pick up this bacterial sludge that it wanted down in the caves, and then these slime wings. Now, I could have avoided this particular trip if I had read more carefully. Basically, if you don't know, if you get out there, you can hit these guys with an axe, and then they will turn into a little slime creature that follows you around. And I was trying to figure out how to pick them up. I even went to the Discord. Turns out the answer, of course, is already in the quest book, and right at the bottom, and you see to complete this quest, to get any of the eggs, note you may need a heavy-duty pickaxe. Reason I didn't quite register this when I first read it is I took that as like a high tier. Note, turns out there is just... Oh, it doesn't look like I have it on me. I think it's this one. There's just an item called the heavy-duty pickaxe that's specific to Galactic Craft. You hit this, and then you can pick up all the eggs, and you can see I got one of each color, as well as the 16 bacterial sludge. So that was the trip to Mars. Nothing honestly too exciting. I mean, once you go to one of the other planets, I don't know if it'll change in the future for later planets, but they're just barren planets. You grab some ores and you come back. I brought the miner back with me because I basically had it running while I was at work and checking on it, and like had this guy run while I knocked out the 3 different dungeons and whatnot. But if I need to go back out there for a specific ore, we'll figure that out. And actually, while I'm chatting, I need to do this. So to get us to space, like I said, there were still a few things I needed to accomplish. See over here in my passive stuff, got tons of nether stars now. The nether, or the wither bee, gives you just like piles of them. But not only that, there was one resource I was really short on, and one I wanted to make sure I took care of because it was causing me problems. It was like a huge bottleneck, and I was worried about ruining my steam production, which may feel silly this way, but I still use steam for some of my smaller machines that are like the backbone of the diesel production, and that is both wood and cotton. And both of those were fixed by crafting this guy right here, the farming station. So I'd never actually used one of these in any of my playthroughs of anything before. I just never got too far into Ender IO. All we can do here is, so I've got 3 slots set to the spruce sapling and 1 set to cotton seeds. And this guy blows the IC2 crop bonsais out of the water. Like, this thing gives me so much wood. It's actually kind of crazy. I'd never used it before, and I'm sure if I went the benzene route, like I would use a couple of those and never have problems. And like, so that pyrolyzed oven that specifically is taking spruce wood, like, eats it like crazy. I have, because it would be 9x9 minus 1 plus like 6 or 7 in the plant, so I have like roughly 85 IC2 spruce wood bonsais going, and it cannot keep up with that pyrolyzed oven over here. This thing by itself is, I mean, I'm at a surplus of this amount right here. I actually had to throw a void on it so that it would keep the ender station, the farming station I should say, would keep running and collecting me cotton. The reason we needed the cotton was I had to craft this thermal padding set, that way I wouldn't get damaged by temperature on the planet. You can see I also got these heavy duty oxygen tanks. I did this on before my last trip out there to Mars, because the main ore that you need for this is Dash, which is one of the Mars ores, and so I got that going. And also one of the bees we craft. So I forgot that I don't have them in my bookmark here, because again, this is a different computer than I normally play on during the day. But while I was at Mars and the surrounding moons, the 4 bees that I want to make sure I crafted, I don't think I'll use 3 of them. Who knows, that might change, but I just want to make sure I didn't have to go back out there. The main one I'll use is this Dash one. It seems like Dash is one of the ores for the next tier. I could be wrong, but so we have that. I'll breed it for better stats here later. Don't really need it right now. So with the Mars trip out of the way, so like I said, I got that farming station done. That actually took up a lot of my time before going. I did hold on, my controls go. I obviously crafted the tier 2 rocket, which is exciting. I always like the way this looks, just because it looks goofy holding this rocket, but that wasn't too bad. There was basically where I had left off on Friday. There wasn't really much I needed to finish. I needed the couple of items that came from like having a nether star, which I'm drawing a blank on right now what it was specifically, and then just a couple of random pieces that I needed that other laser engraver set up for, and that stuff's all set up. So crafting the rocket at that point was just literally, I already had the majority of the cost, which is the heavy duty plates. I just needed a few of the extra items, which really didn't amount to much. Tier 2 rocket. You can see this guy if I go over to crafting. So I already had these guys, and I just had to set up the crafts for these cones. I already had the boosters and the engines all set up, so like I said, pretty straightforward there. As for today, after getting back from Mars, the main thing, so to move on to IV, we needed tungsten steel, which we already have piles of, so that, like, I didn't have to do anything for that. I didn't have to set up any sort of ore processing line or anything. However, the other thing the the IV quest needs to start. Oh, it doesn't show anymore. So basically, to unlock this square right here, we needed a stack of tungsten steel to finish that quest, as well as 2 stacks of graphene. Graphene I hadn't set up a line for. That's what this guy is over here. Basically, to kind of minimize the channel, since I already kind of wasted a bunch over here and didn't feel like cleaning that up yet. I don't think I need them right now. Basically, I have one dual interface that's pulling out 5 separate liquids. To get to graphene, you need to make advanced glue. The advanced glue comes from this vinyl acetate, polyvinyl acetate, which is down in here. To get that, though, we needed to set up this acetate. To set this up, I did need to take a couple of my byproducts from the CBD line over in the fuel station that I didn't have on the AE network and put those on, but otherwise everything else we already had. So it's just as simple as basically slapping down interface, slapping down these 2 LCRs, and then the glue itself is made into here, and then graphene, if I could spell, C is made in an assembler with advanced glue and these 2 guys. So this one, I just did a fluid crafting recipe, these guys, and threw it on one of my Circuit 1 assemblers over here. So going forward, immediate goals that I know to be able to move forward, I need to address my power situation, because my power situation is rough. Also, there should not be mobs spawning right here. Uh-oh. Am I out of fuel? Oh, yes, I am out of fuel. I'm gonna sleep. Basically, the mobs are red flag that I ran out of power for a second, because I have in both of these towers. I don't know where it is on this side. Oh, here it is. Gotta. Why don't you? Oh, it's not outputting, it's fluid. That's why. So yeah, this guy wasn't on. Basically, I keep this guy powered all the time. That's my monster repeller. And it's pretty... I'm gonna have to make sure I let everything despawn, because there are a lot of... Since I have those things constantly running, I have to, I've been kind of careless with where I put torches, so there's probably all sorts of monsters spawn down below these right now. But as you can see, though, what I was about to say is, I know first things first, I really need to address power. As you can see right here, I am struggling to keep up with even fuel, which I'm not really sure why at the moment, because nothing's running that I'm aware of. I'm gonna have to look around. Like, I took all my extreme entity crushers off of the diesel. Those are running off of nuclear, but immediate future, I need to really set up the uranium nuclear reactor so I can run my blast furnaces and stuff like that without draining the power. Yeah, I did set up this guy right here. So for that farming station, I set up this one. Why is this off? That doesn't even make sense, because this guy's on nuclear too. He shouldn't be running out of power. But I set up this guy who's a skeleton one. That way I could get, as you can see, it doesn't even have any bones over here. The farming station's eating that much bone meal, but this guy's just specifically for the bones, so I can get more bone meal to keep the farming station going faster. I did not have these thermal paddings. I think they take 192 of the woven cloth, so I needed a ton of cotton. I will say, when I actually was going to craft these, I kind of got impatient, so I just took a bunch of bone meal and went to a cotton plant. I didn't wait on the farming station, but I would like it to build up a backlog. Down here, why is this? I'm a little confused as to what is happening. Oh, he's got power, so No Infernal Land. I don't know, I'll have to keep an eye on this. I don't know why this guy died for power. He should be taking less than it's inputting, so that's odd. But anyways, so yes, in the immediate future, need to take care of power. I need to set up the miner. Oh, I forgot to touch on that. So that was the last thing on my checklist before I went to Mars. I actually crafted for the first time the components for the miner, and I even made a little crafting recipe in here so that I can craft more for the next time I go back and actually know what I need from the planet, because believe it or not, I haven't had to mine in a very long time. It feels like it's been a couple months since I've dropped down my little single block HV miner. The bees have been more than enough for resources. The last time I actually needed the miner was for mica, and then I also dropped it on, I believe, a tetrahedrite vein in the nether because I needed more antimony. So aside from that, all my other resources have been covered. I haven't needed it all, so I've never bothered crafting this ore drilling plant till yesterday. But so yeah, but with all that said, I am really excited to pick up this guy, because once I pick up this guy, we are officially in IV tier. It has been months and months in EV tier. Spent a long time redoing and setting up these passive resources. I'm so very excited to move on. Like I said, for the immediate future, I got a couple little random things. I'll try to set up, I think I'll set up a nuclear uranium to see if I can get more power, and then I think tomorrow I'll come back with a better plan of how I'm gonna work my way into IV. So I hope everybody had a good weekend and has a good night. Appreciate you watching, and I will see you tomorrow.